options. So these are the mandatory options that we can use. So if you use ls-a, so that one is used if you want to print out everything, not because um in your in your terminal, your repo directory, most times when you create a repo, there has to be some hidden files that start with dots. So if I want to list everything, so if I ls now, you will not see anything like dots. So but if I ls space that a, you will see that to print out even the directory that has dots, you can see dot forward slash dot forward slash. So that is one of the options of ls. Okay, so ls means to list the directory of a content, to list out the content of a directory. So for ls now means list out the content of a directory. That is the first command. Then the second command is pwd. So what's pwd is? Pwd means print working directory. So if I man pwd, now you see what pw is. So pwd means output the current working directory. So if you want to know the directory at which you are working on, so you can just use the command pwd. So it also has some options, although most time we don't really use those ones. So the page document, so that is pwd basically. So if I want to know the directory from which I'm working from, so I'll just pwd. See that I'm working from conditionals. Yeah. So I'm currently on conditionals. So and this conditional is a directory. So these are some of the works. So if I go back to, so that is pwd basically. Pwd stands for print working directory. So if I ask you to print your working directory, you just pwd. So to print out your working directory for you, you can see it here: home, there's Josh, desktop, app, javascript under this is conditional. So that is the command pwd, right? So another command I want to show you guys is change directory. So remember that currently I'm on conditional. I'm currently in this directory condition. I'm working from direct condition. Let's say I want to change my directory. Let's say I want to change my directory into another. I want to change it to another directory. Like I want to work from another directory. So I can use the cd command. Cd means change directory. So if I man cd, I will see the description here. cd means change directory, right? So change the current working directory. So if I want to change to another directory now, I can just use the command cd. Now the way cd works is that if you are going up, if you are going, so for example now, if I print my working directory now, you will see I have desktop, I have dev josh, I have home, I have dev josh, I have desktop, I have app, I have javascript underscore details, I have conditional. These are hierarchies. So I'm calling on the conditionals directory. Now if I want to change directory into javascript directory, it means I'm going backward, right? So if I'm going backward in the terminal, you use triple dot. I say triple dot, double dot like this. If you want to go back to the direct, if you want to go back, or if you want to go back to directory, what happens now? If you want to go back to directory, you use your cd double dot. So if I cd double dot now, it will take me back to javascript detail. Now if I print out my working directory like pwd now, you see that I'm now in javascript underscore details. Now another flag is, if I want to, now I've gone back to the previous direction. Now if I want to go back to the direction I just came from, so I'll use cd then space dash. So if I see this page, I hope my is big enough. I'm sorry if it's not big enough before. So you can see this cd dash. Now cd dash means I want to go back to conditionals where I was. So if I see now, it will take me back to conditionals. So you can see I'm in conditionals. So if I print working direction now, you see I'm in conditionals, right? So that is the third command. So we've looked at ls command for listing, we've looked at pwd for printing working directory, we've looked at we looked at cd for changing directory. Now if you want to create a file, you want to create a file, so you want to quickly create a file and write some things in the file. There's a command called touch touch. So if you touch is, so let's man touch and see what touch is. So you can see that touch means change file timestamp or use for creating files. Basically it's used for creating file. That is what touch is. So let's say I want to create a file called Emmanuel. Well, let's say I just create a file. Let's say the name of my file is shell. That's the name of my file. Now I will just use touch and the name of the file, shell. Let's say this shell. And remember extension. So if you want to create just a text file, use .txt for just text. So that is, so if I want to create a file now, I use the touch command. So if I touch shell.txt now to create a new file for me, enter. So if I want to list the content of this directory, I just ls, right, and I'll see shell. So there's shell here. There's shell. See, you can see shell. It has created a new an empty directory for me. You get, guys? Yeah. So that is the touch command. So we use touch in creating files, empty files. Touch is what we use in creating that. So if you want to create any new file, you touch just touch. Let's say I want to create another file called I want to create another file called shell2.txt. Now if I enter, if I list my content, I will see shell2.txt. Now remember that you can see that the extension I have here is JS. JS means stands for JavaScript. So I will not want to have some files that I don't need in this directory. So if I want to delete this stuff, if I want to delete this shell2.txt now, I want to delete this shell.txt now. So there's a command called rm. Rm means remove. So if I man rm, you can see rm means remove files or directory. So if I want to remove files directory now, I'll use the rm command. But note that there's this flag called -r. So -r, if you add as a command, you must add -r to it. -r means to remove. Now if you are removing an empty file, use the -r after the rm command. Do you understand? Use the -r after the rm command. So let me see, I want to remove the shell2.txt and shell.txt. So I just use the rm. I see that that's autocomplete for me, -r for removing, and then I will name the name of the file I want to remove. So shell autocomplete shell2.txt, right? So if I enter now, it's gone. So I don't have shell again. Let's confirm. So I'll use the ls to list the content of my directory. So ls, now you can see that we don't have shell again. You get, so we've looked at rm command. So rm is used for deleting file or removing a file, an empty file. And if you are using, note that if you are using the rm command, you must add the -r to it. So for removing file. Now that is another command. So let's say I want to make a directory. I want to create a new folder for our class. So let's say I want to create a new folder for our class. I'm going to use so there's a command called mkdir. So let's see what mkdir is. So I'll just say man mkdir. So mkdir is used for making directories or making folders, right? So if you want to make a new folder, use the mkdir. You get that? So let's say I want to make a folder for this our shell class. So I can use the command mkdir then shell underscore class, right? So if I enter now, it will create a new file for me called it will create a new directory or a new folder from that is named shell underscore class. So let's say I want to see the content I have in this particular directory. So I use the ls command. So you can see that. Now note that folders are colored blue, while just files are colored white. So you can see that we have a color blue test here. That is shell underscore class, meaning this is a folder, or this is a that. Now note that a folder is just like a container, so you cannot really do anything in the folder. So either it is in a folder that you create file. So let's say I want to add some files into I want to create some files into this shell now. So I will need to change directory into this shell, so I'll be able to work in this shell. Remember that if I want to change directory, I use the cd command. So cd, then the name of the directory I'm changing to. So I want to change to shell underscore class. So if I enter now, I'm now in the shell underscore. If I want to know that, I'll use the pwd command for printing working directory. So pwd will print my working directory. So if I enter now, you see that I'm in shell underscore class command. So if I want to see if I want to see my content, I'll use the ls command for see my content. So ls command, so you can see that we don't have anything here because the folder is empty. Now I want to add some files into this folder so that we can see. I want to add some files. You remember, if you want to create a file, you use the touch command, right? Touch command, touch, then the name of the file I want to create test1.tst, test2.tst, test3.tst. Right, so these are the files I want to create in this directory. I'll enter now. So if I want to see them now, I'll use the ls command. So ls, see that we now have test1.tst, test2.tst, test3.tst in this what is it called, in this shell underscore class this thing folder. Right, so I hope you guys are following. Okay, so I have this file now. If I want to write something into file on the command, on the shell, I want to write let's say I just want to write something. I just want to write maybe a description, or I want to write my name at the first line, or I just want to write something into a file. There's a command called echo. So if you want to write something into a file, you use the command called echo. So if I want to know what echo is, I'll just use the man. Remember the man echo. So if I man echo now, so the what echo does is we use echo in to display a line of text. So if you want to display some line of text, want to write something into a file, use the echo command. Echo command. Now echo is a command, but it's if you're just echoing, so if let's say if you want to echo let's say my name, you can see it is my name. So I just like that it printed my name, so I'm echoing something. I'm outputting something on the shell. So let's say I want to write echo shell is nice to work with. So if I enter now, you see that it printed shell is nice to work with, right? So but echo, the beauty of echo is that we want to use echo to write something into a file. Now the only way the only way we can do that is using echo with the two greater signs like this, or just one greater sign to start with, just one greater sign. So if you want to, let's say I want to redirect. Now this is an output, right? Is this one an output? This is an output, right, on the shell. So if let's say I want to redirect this particular output now into a file, maybe into test1.tst, now I'll use the greater sign command. So this greater sign command, it will write it in the first line. Now so let's say I want to redirect this output now into a file. So echo, then greater sign, then let's say I want to put it in tst.1. If I enter now, if I ls, so we didn't see anything, right? But if I want to see the content of what is in test1.tst, there's a command called cat or nl, or so let's start with cat. So if you want to see the content of a file, you use cat. So let's say I want to see what is in test1.txt. So I'll just use cat, then test1.txt. You can see that it printed out shell is nice to work with. Same way, um, same way echo did, but now what echo did is now, well, like what this shell is nice to work with is now in a file, right? So we can now share the file with somebody else. But remember that using echo alone, we can't share with anybody, right? Because it is now a computer. So let's say I want to share this file now with you now, or you are listening to, so I can easily share the file with you, right? So that is one. Now if I want to write another thing again inside the test1.txt and I use echo shell is, let's say it's not nice again, it's not great, I haven't seen the work now, it's great to work with. Now you remember I said if you use this greater sign, use greater sign in redirecting the output of a command into a file. So this is a command, we are redirecting the output of this command into a new file called test1.txt. Now if I use just this greater sign, what it will work, but it will delete what we had there before and then replace it with this new one. Like it will replace what we had with this shell is great to work with. So let's see. Enter now, no problem, right? So let's see the content in our test. So I use the cat command, cat test1.txt. You can see shell is great to work with. It has replaced what we had before with what we just typed, right? But it's not nice because you can't be replacing stuff when the importance of a file is to store content. So it's not good that way. So to now write, how like to now write more content into, if you now want to write more content into a file, so use the, you want to write more content. Remember that this just one greater sign would how like redirect the output of a command, or the, yeah, the result of a command. Remember that we've seen the result of echo, so it will direct the result of a command into a file. Now let's say we want to add another info, or want to add another text into our file. So remember, if we cut this one, we only have shell is great to. Let's say we want to add another thing in line 2 now. How do I do that? I use the double greater sign. Now the function of this double greater sign is it will append means add, so it will append this new output to the previous output in another line. Do you get? So let's say I want to add another thing to this shell, into this file. So I can say echo I am having a good time with my shell. Now I want to add this, I'm having a good time with my shell, to this shell is great to work with. I'll now use the double greater signs like this. So where do I want to output it to? I want to output it into test. So I want to output into test1.txt. So let me enter now. So no error, right? So let's see the content in test1.txt. You can see that we now have shell is great to work with. I am having a good time with my shell.